Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Mike Shildt's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
Here's the pitch to Vargas. Swung on and missed. Strike three. Blew him away with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and a 1-2-3 ninth for Robert Suarez, who collects his 40th save of the season. And the Padres edge the White Sox 3-2 to win this series 2-1.
Well, it wasn't necessarily easy, but it was a dub. It's a series win for the Padres as they take care of business the last 2 days in Chicago against the White Sox. Padres win it on this Sunday by a final score of 3-2. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower, rooftop pool, spa, a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place, as the Padres win this series in Chicago. They take the final road series of the regular season, and now the Padres will head home for the final 6 games of the year, all at Petco Park, with the series beginning tomorrow against the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll go back to Rate Field in Chicago, hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Coming up in a little bit, we'll also have all the radio highlights for you, recap each and every aspect of this game here today. Well, look, it was not the prettiest win the Padres have had this season. That's fair to say. They walked 9 Chicago White Sox hitters in this game. The White Sox went 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They left 11 on base. The Padres scored 3 runs in the first 3 innings. They did not score again, and it really felt like somehow, some way, they hung on to a 1-run win here today, and that's okay. Hey, this time of year, you got to find ways to win these games, and the Padres do. You did not want to lose this series to a White Sox team that could very easily end the year with more than 100 losses. In fact, they have 98 after today. Padres improved to 85-71, but the Padres got it done, and they weathered the walks and all the guys on base for the White Sox today. Look, that was the story of this game, no doubt about it. I mean, this game, to be quite honest, was on a silver platter for the White Sox with the way the Padres issued free passes and all the opportunities the White Sox had. But when they needed to, the Padres made A, some big-time pitches, and B, some big-time defensive plays. The other thing to note from this game, Michael King had an interesting outing, I would say. I'm kind of fascinated to hear what he says about it after today's game inside the clubhouse. You'll look at his final line, 5 innings, no runs, and that's good. On the other hand, the command, it didn't look like was there. There were some periods of this game where his command was kind of all over the place. He ended up walking 4, and again, dealt with a lot of base runners, but this White Sox team, a young lineup, they really helped him out. I mean, they did. If you watch this game, you saw it. Michael King would, allow a couple of hits, couple of base runners, and then all of a sudden the White Sox were swinging early in counts. So he did a good job taking advantage of this kind of lineup today, but at the same time, the walks were an issue. I don't know that the command was really where he'd want it to be. With all that said, he goes 5 innings and no runs given up. So the way I would define this Sunday game in Chicago was not the prettiest game the Padres have played this year. Walking 9, ton of base traffic. Offensively, they didn't do a whole lot beyond the 3 early runs. It was shut down after that. However, this time of year here on September 21st, the win is the thing, and the Padres get that. Now, I will mention there's been a lot of activity in the National League today. The Reds have beat the Cubs. The Mets lost to the Nationals. My goodness, they lose a series to the Nationals over the course of this weekend. So with that, the Reds are now tied with the Mets for the final wild card spot, and they have the tiebreaker. So the Reds currently have that final wild card spot. They would go to Dodger Stadium for a wild card series if the season ended today. Of course, 6 games remaining for both the Reds and the Mets. But you look at it now as far as the magic number for the Padres, they cannot clinch tomorrow. So the Padres do reduce their magic number to 2 with the win today, but they cannot clinch, to my knowledge, the postseason tomorrow because the Reds don't play tomorrow. So I'm going to double check this in the break, but I'm almost positive the Padres cannot clinch tomorrow because the Reds don't play. So we will continue to keep an eye on all that. We'll confirm that for you, but I'm like 99% sure that's the deal as I just talk about it off the top of my head here. But magic number is down to 2. We know that at the end of today. Again, not the prettiest game the Padres have played this year from a pitching standpoint, ton of wildness, but they do hang on for a 3-2 win. When we come back, we'll recap it from start to finish. We'll also hear from Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later as well. Padres win 2 out of 3 against the White Sox over the weekend. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue our post-game coverage here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, Padres 3 and the White Sox 2. The Padres do reduce their magic number to 2 with their win here today. Reds winning against the Cubs, so it'll stay at 2 by the end of today. I believe, and we're having some people double check on this right now. We're double checking some things here because the Mets also did lose today. So from what I understood earlier, there's not a chance for the Padres to clinch tomorrow, but there's some double checking going on right now with the Padres magic number being at 2. So hopefully by the time we get off the air, we can provide a little bit of clarity for you. But we'll head back to Chicago here from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later. We'll also take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, let you know where things stand across baseball as far as all these different exciting races going on on in divisions, in the wild card scenario, certainly in the American League, very intriguing as well. And we'll get you ready for the series opener against the Milwaukee Brewers at Petco Park tomorrow. But before we do all that, let's recap this one.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Our starting pitching matchup here today, Sean Burke on the mound for the White Sox, Michael King on the mound for the Padres. Both right-handers tossed a scoreless first inning. Padres then got a rally going in the top of the second. Jackson Merrill hit a leadoff single. Gavin Sheets hit a one-out single to send Merrill to third base, and then this happened.
Burke is set. And he'll throw to first base. Sheets goes back in standing, and the throw gets away. Merrill will come in to score. Sheets is at second, and he will hold up there as Sosa's throw comes back in. Pickoff throwing error by Sean Burke, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead.
So 1-0 Padre lead, but they weren't done in that second with 2 outs and a runner still in scoring position. It was Jake Cronenworth.
On base a bunch, and now a line drive punched up the middle into center field, base hit. Sheets racing around third. He'll come in to score. And Jake Cronenworth, an RBI single to give the Padres a 2-0 lead here in the second.
Burke creates some firewood, but Jake Cronenworth doesn't care.
Padres led 2-0 heading to the third. Fernando Tatis Jr. led off.
As Fernando Tatis Jr. stands in against Sean Burke. First pitch on the way. And Tatis swings, hits it in the air deep to left field. Robertson is back to watch. This one gonna go about halfway up the bleachers in left field for Fernando. His 23rd of the year, and the Padre lead is now 3-0.
Fernando got loose. First pitch he saw.
Yeah, and he absolutely crushed it. Fernando sending that baseball 432 feet at 112 miles per hour off the bat, the 4th fastest exit velocity of a home run for a Padre this season. So Fernando making it a 3-0 Padre lead. Michael King would go 5 scoreless innings. He pitched his way into the 6th inning, but he then allowed 2 singles and a walk to load the bases with nobody out. Adrian Morejon came in, retired 3 in a row to get out of the jam. King's final line, 5 innings, no runs, 4 hits. He did walk 4, struck out 4 on 70 pitches. Padres still led 3-0. Going to the bottom of the 7th inning, Kyle Hart came in. He allowed a double and a couple of walks. That loaded the bases with 1 out. The Padres then went to Mason Miller to face Miguel Vargas. Vargas walked. A run came in. It was 3-1. The count then ran to 3-1 with the bases loaded against Edgar Caro, but Miller came back to strike him out for the 2nd out. Andrew Benintendi then ran into a 3-1 count again. Miller walked him. That brought in another run to make it 3-2. However, Miller then got a ground out to end the inning. Strand the bases loaded, kept the Padres ahead at 3-2. Padres still led just 3-2. Going to the bottom of the 8th inning, Wandy Peralta came in. He gave up a 1-out walk, but he got a huge double play to get out of the inning. Padres had a good scoring chance on the top of the 9th inning to get some insurance. Runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, but they did not score against the White Sox pen. So the Padres had the 3 early runs. They still led 3-2 going to the bottom half of the 9th inning. To that point, the White Sox had gone 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They had left 11 on base, and the Padres had walked 9 batters, but they still led by a run. It was Robert Suarez in the 9th, and he made it look easy.
Here's the pitch to Vargas. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Blew him away with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And a 1-2-3 ninth for Robert Suarez, who collects his 40th save of the season. And the Padres edge the White Sox 3-2 to win this series 2-1.
Padres just get by here today. 3-2 the final. 3 runs on 10 hits. No errors for San Diego. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the White Sox. Padres now 85-71. White Sox dropped to 58-98. Michael King, the winning pitcher, he's now 5-3. Sean Burke, the losing pitcher, he's 4-11. And the save goes to Robert Suarez, his 40th of this season. When we return, we'll go back to Chicago, hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to come as the Padres win it 3-2. They win 2 out of 3 from the White Sox over this weekend. Our postgame coverage continues after these words. Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, the Padres 3 and the White Sox 2, as the Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Sox over this weekend. They go 3-3 on this final road trip of the regular season to New York and to Chicago to play the Mets and the White Sox. And so the Padres hang on here today, 3-2 at the final, as the Padres improved to 85-71. The White Sox dropped to 58-98. Padres magic number to clinch a postseason berth goes down to 2. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower and an elegant new spa. We have more ways for you to enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Well, the Padres had 3 early runs in this game. They got 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and they made it stand up today despite walking 9 batters. The White Sox going 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Michael King went 5 scoreless innings. He did a walk 4. He did have a lot of traffic on the bases, but he put up a 0. Adrian Morejon getting out of a huge jam, bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th inning to save Michael King some runs and keep the Padres ahead 3-0. Kyle Hart got 1 out of the 7th inning, got in major trouble. Mason Miller came in, had to come in a bases loaded situation, ended up walking in 2 runs to make it a 3-2 game. Wandy Peralta scoreless 8th inning. Robert Suarez scoreless 9th inning. So, like I said in the opening segment, not the prettiest win pitching-wise you'll ever see the Padres have with the 9 walks and all the base traffic, but Padres scored 3 early runs, and they hang on for a 3-2 win. Let's go back to Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois, and let's hear from Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, start with Michael King. What did you see out of Michael today?
Got better as the game went for sure. Settled in. Stuff good. Good to see the changeup as effective as it was. They had such a quality pitch for him, figuring out the sweeper, but getting better with it. Fastball command, rounding into form, velocity there. Once he hit his stride in the third, it was Michael King. Good rhythm, who we have grown to get accustomed to seeing pitch, how he's accustomed to pitching. Any more than earn the opportunity to go out and start the 6th.
Certainly sounds like, in that those are the kind of things you guys were looking for after the last outing and as he progresses. That it sounds like you very confident in Michael going forward.
I'm confident, yes. I'm confident in Michael going forward. It's a matter of, competing and allow him to work through some things. But to his credit, he was at some real intestinal fortitude to get through the first and the second with some jams and keep them clean. And then, like I said, hit his stride. And, when those guys, they need to get those touches. You need to get on the mound, get those touches. And you could tell he was starting to feel good about what he was doing and repeating everything he was doing, and the ball was going where he wanted to.
How do you kind of sum up what Adrian Morejon has meant to your team this season in terms of the number of situations he's gotten out of, how much he's pitched, and just how available he's been, everything?
He's been fantastic, clearly. He's a huge reason we're in the position we're in. And the thing that is wonderful about Adrian of many, but to start with, is he can take down any situation. He has shown up in the 4th, and the next night grabbed the 9th. He has shown up in the 8th, and last night he showed up in the 7th, and today he showed up in the 6th with the bases loaded, nobody out. And he's just going to go, and he's going to be on attack. The other thing, when you mentioned about the amount he's pitched, and I talk about this all the time with pitchers, or at least, in my developmental days, you want to take care of yourself, throw strikes. So last night, 4 outs and up and down, which is real, 13 pitches. Today, goes right at him. There's a lot of quality strikes, trusts his stuff in the zone, and that allows him to bounce back and be able to continue to be effective as he moves forward. So I mean, just not enough superlatives to talk about Adrian. He's done a phenomenal job. I'm really proud of him.
And his ability to get righties too. I mean, that's tied to the strike throwing, but also like what goes into that.
No question. I mean, listen, we've got righties. We've got righties to get lefties. We've created a lot of as the primary lefty guy. We'll bring Wandy in a second, but as the primary lefty guy, he's shown up in a lot of lefty lanes. But as we progress forward, we're not going to hesitate and haven't hesitated from him getting. We're still going to put him in the best lane we can relative to the whole game, and had a parcel together to get to the end and shake hands. But the wrap-up point is we trust him against anybody.
You've been lamenting the walk a little bit recently. There was a time.
Right.
Today was a pretty rough one. Got a little close. Mike, what do you see?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna talk this up as a complete one-off because I don't feel like that's been our MO for some period of time now. It happens. So I'm not going to give it more life than today. But today it had a life, and like I said, Mike Waver came and settled in. That seventh inning was, pretty well self-inflicted. We got a jam job down the line for a leadoff double, and we made it a little bigger than it was and started nibbling a little bit. Back to the effectiveness of Adrian. But we were able to sneak through it, and Mason, was able to keep it at 2, and Wandy did a tremendous job in the 8th to get that double play ball. And Suarez came in, pounded his own, and picked up his 40th save, which is quite impressive. I think it's only the 5th time in Padre history, if I recall, for the fifth person that's done it. Not the 5th time, because Trevor Hoffman did it like 100 times. So, yeah, let's get Hoffy his due.
You guys are headed to the playoffs almost certainly, but what would you like to see the final week?
I like the way we've gone about things the last couple of days. I mean, we didn't add on offensively, did yesterday. Some real toughness with the at-bats. Defense really good the last several days. Manny with another tremendous play coming in. Louis with a great play in the 9th. The bullpen's in a good spot. Starting pitching's rounding into shape, and the offenses continue to take consistent bats. So that's the recipe for what we want to continue to do, build on, and then go beyond and go deep, very, very, very deep.
I know it might be contingent, but like you could be playing for a playoff spot tomorrow at home at Petco Park. Like what do you expect kind of that atmosphere to be like? What do you expect?
I mean, it's Petco Park. I mean, it feels like a environment that every night you feel like you're going to clinch a playoff berth. Every night feels like a game of significance. So Friar Faithful will be out there. I also want to give a shout out to the Friar Faithful that showed up. It's our last regular season home game, but today was indicative of really pretty much the whole year. The Padre fans, people say, well, they travel well, and they do travel well. People even go from San Diego, but not everybody that's showing up, that is a significant number of people on the road, is traveling. Padre Nation is spreading across the country, and it's international, and it's really a cool feeling to be a part of something that continues to build and grow, and our fan base is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and but kudos to the people on the road that join us and support us too.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt following this 3-2 win for the Padres against the Chicago White Sox. Good to hear Padres fans traveling well, as they've done all year. And the Padres give them a series win here today as they beat the White Sox 3-2. A lot of good thoughts there about Adrian Morejon. We're going to talk about Adrian on the other side of this break because he came in, did a phenomenal job in this game. Padres, again, type of game today. It wasn't the prettiest, but they, hung on for a 1-run win. They walked 9, dealt with a ton of base traffic, but found a way today as they take the rubber game of this 3-game series. Final score again, Padres 3 and the White Sox 2. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. If you want to get a phone call in on this Sunday, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call if you want to get involved as we wrap up this 3-2 win for the Padres as they take 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later. A full look at the standings. A lot of interesting things going on right now across Major League Baseball with now 1 week left to play. A week from today, the postseason spots will be set. Padres, if the season ended right now, are heading to Chicago, where they are right now, where they're leaving to come back to San Diego from to play a wild card series at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. That continues to seem like the most likely scenario, but of course, nothing set in stone yet. Let's tell you about today's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Morahone is set. 1-2 to the pinch hitter. And Taylor takes on the inside edge. Strike 3 called. Adrian Morahone comes out of the bullpen with the bases loaded, nobody out, and he leaves them loaded.
Yeah, Adrian Morahone, to me, no doubt about it, relief pitcher of the game today. He was terrific. That was after Michael King in a 3-0 game, Padres leading. King loads the bases, couple of singles, a walk comes out, and then Morahone, who has been so good at stranding inherited runners this season, gets a strikeout, pop out, and a strikeout to end the inning, kept the Padres ahead 3-0. Strand the bases loaded. Morahone, how about this? He's allowed just 5 of his inherited 45 runners to score this season. Again, 5 of his 45 inherited runners to score this season. That's 11.1%, the second lowest mark among all qualifying major league relievers. So not only is Adrian, by ERA, by wins, by so many metrics, strikeouts, all these different things, appearances, not only has he had such a breakout, terrific season, but Adrian also from the standpoint of coming in when he is facing trouble, trying to clean up somebody else's mess, really is what it is. He didn't create the trouble, but inherited runners, he's about as good as anybody in baseball. It's stranding inherited runners, which is just such an important trait to have as a high leverage reliever. And he did it again today. Bases loaded, nobody out, and he left them loaded. Big reason why the Padres hung on for a 3-2 win. Another big moment in this game was when Wandy Peralta was on the mound in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Padres up by 1, and that was when our catch of the game happened.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Wandy holds and delivers, and a hard hit one hopper to short. Cronenworth to second, that's one. Arise's turn is in time, and a double play to end the inning. So Wandy Peralta did what Wandy Peralta does and gets the inning-ending double play to send us to the 9th.
Really nice job by Wandy Peralta. An inning-ending 6-4-3 double play in the 8th as the Padres come away from that 8th inning with that 3-2 lead intact. It was really nicely turned. It was hit very sharply to Jake Cronenworth at shortstop. Had to have a perfect turn. They did, and nice moment by Jake to Luis Arise, who was at second base. No, actually, I'm sorry about that. It was Arise at that point. McCoy hadn't come in yet. Arise at second base and to O'Hearn at first base. Nicely done after there was another walk by Padres pitching, but Peralta cleans it up by inducing the double play. Nicely turned by the Padres defense in a 1-run game, and that was today's catch of the game. Let's tell you about the heart of the Padres order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the Heart of the Order, presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Part of the order here today, Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, Ramon Laureano. Relatively quiet day for them. However, in a win, Manny went 0 for 4. Merrill went 1 for 4 with a single, did score a run. Ramon Laureano 1 for 4 as well. He had a base hit in this game, tried to stretch a single into a double, got thrown out at second base. So combined 2 hits, 1 for Merrill, 1 for Laureano, a couple of singles, and Manny 0 for 4. That's a look at how the 3, 4, 5 spots did the heart of the Padres order. All right, let's squeeze in a few phone calls here before we get to the out-of-town scoreboard and all that good stuff coming up in our next segment. Let's go to Gonzo calling in. Hi, Gonzo. You're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Woo! Sammy, my boy.
Hey.
Hopefully they come back home and play as good as you look, my dude.
Al, I don't look very good today. I kind of just threw a sweatshirt on and a hat, but I appreciate it, Gonzo.
Hey, a win's a win. You got to do what you got to do.
That's right. That's right. You're right, Gonzo.
Shout out to the Levies. Shout out to the faithful. But you know what? Shout out to Melanie Morahone for keeping our boy in check.
Okay. All right, Gonzo. Appreciate the phone call. Well, hey, Adrian Morahone has just been terrific. I mean, was terrific once again here today. And we told you about the stat with the inherited runners. He's been about as good as anybody at stranding inherited runners and getting the job done. So Adrian Morahone putting together just a terrific campaign. He's been so important to this Padres bullpen. Let's go to Dan in Arizona. Hi, Dan.
Hey, how you doing, Sammy?
Doing well.
I think you said before that the magic number was 2
to
make the playoffs.
Yeah, Dan. I was told that by the people that would tell us that. I that may be incorrect, so I'm waiting on the confirmation. Yeah, what do you have?
It is incorrect. Well, because if the Mets and the Reds are tied, if they both win out, they would have 86 wins.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Padres win 1, they would have 86 wins. You'd have a 3-way tie. And since the Reds and Padres both have the tiebreaker against the Mets would be on the outside looking in. Now, in that scenario, we would be the number 6 seed, but let's get the playoffs first, and then we'll worry about what seed we have.
Yeah, Dan.
So tomorrow night, we could be dancing tomorrow night on the turf at Petco.
Yeah, I hope so, Dan. Look, I'm waiting for confirmation. I was told by people that get this info from MLB, that it was at 2 with a Reds win and a Padres win today, but I'm not sure that's correct. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm waiting for official confirmation. I do acknowledge your research and your math, and there's a chance you're right. I just got to hold off on it till I get the official confirmation, because this stuff is a little bit complicated, and I want to make sure we're passing along the right info. So I'm waiting, to be honest with you, to get the confirmed MLB provided info here about the Padres magic number, if it is 2 or if it is 1, but you may be correct. Let's go to Thomas in Del Cerro. Hi, Thomas. Thomas, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
Okay. Great win. Yeah, I was trying to call last week. I guess I was hung up and I tried to call back. But what I really want to talk about, and I don't know if you want to wait to the end of the season, but I just want to say it now. Jesse Egler is one of my favorite announcers. I mean, he's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to the game. I listen to the game 90% at work, so I'm always at work, and I listen to Jesse Egler, and he's so underrated, and I like his work, and he crowds for his game, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's fun to listen to. And so I give him props. He doesn't really get much props throughout the MLB and all that stuff, but I want to give a shout out to Jesse Egler.
Now, Thomas, appreciate it. Jesse does an absolutely terrific job, as does Tony, as does Bob Scanlon. And Jesse does an amazing job. Very lucky to have him as the radio voice of our Padres. So, Thomas, appreciate that. I'm sure Jesse would very much appreciate the kind words. So thank you for calling in and sharing that. Absolutely. Jesse does a tremendous job each and every day here on the Padres Radio Network. All right, when we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow, and continue to break this one down. Padres win it 3-2 against the White Sox to take 2 out of 3 against the Sox this weekend. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score today, the Padres 3 and the White Sox 2. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard here in a second, update you on the standings, where things stand at the moment after we have most of the games today that have gone final. A lot of fascinating stuff going on around baseball. I do want to, again, number one, apologize for having sort of uncertainty here about the magic number situation. What I'm going to tell you is, earlier in the day, I was told officially it was one thing. I'm not 100% sure right now, and we are waiting on confirmation from Major League Baseball itself. I'm telling you, Major League Baseball itself, to get confirmation that some of you out there who believe the magic number is actually down to 1, that is the case. So I apologize. I may not be able to provide the right update for you by the time we wrap up the post-game coverage here today, but I do not have that confirmation yet, because that would be different from what we were told earlier in the day. But I don't know. Could be that they could actually clinch tomorrow, but I'm being totally transparent and honest with you right now that I know people are checking on it. MLB will tell us at some point what the situation is. Many of you out there who believe it's at 1, you could be right. I don't know that you are, and I can't go with it until I get that confirmation. So I'm just telling you, you may have to stay tuned to social media to 97.3 the fan tomorrow to get final confirmation whether the clinching scenario could happen tomorrow or not. I will tell you this, though. The Padres are firmly in control of their own destiny. So they do their job. They win some games here. They will clinch that postseason berth, at some point very, very soon. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard today. We have 2 finals today. Excuse me. Backtrack. 2 games going on right now. Everything else final or coming up in a little bit. Dodgers lead the Giants 1-0 in LA. Diamondbacks lead the Phillies 6-0 in the 6th inning in Arizona. That game, by the way, in LA in the 7th inning. So Dodgers ahead, Diamondbacks ahead in their respective games. The Braves are beating the Tigers today. They beat them already today, 6-2 in Detroit. Yankees beat the Orioles 7-1 in Baltimore in 10. Pirates beat the A's 11-0 in Pittsburgh today. Reds hung on to beat the Cubs 1-0 in Cincinnati. Nationals beat the Mets 3-2 in New York. Twins beat the Guardians 6-2 in Minnesota. Blue Jays beat the Royals 8-5 in Kansas City. Cardinals beat the Brewers 5-1 in St. Louis. Marlins beat the Rangers 4-2 in Arlington, and the Rockies beat the Angels 3-1 in Colorado. So, where do things stand at the end of today? Let's begin in the National League. As far as the National League West, Padres at the moment 3.5 behind the Dodgers for first place in the NL West. If the Dodgers win, that goes back to 4. Dodgers lose against the Giants, they blow a lead there. It would go down to 3 with 6 games remaining. As far as the wild card picture in the NL, it is getting pretty wild, no pun intended. With the Reds winning today and the Mets losing, the Cincinnati Reds are now tied with the New York Mets for the final wild card spot at 80 and 76. But here's the thing. The Reds have the tiebreaker. So at the moment, the Reds are sitting in that wild card spot. They have the tiebreaker over the Mets, and the Mets, for the first time in what feels like forever, on the outside looking in of a wild card spot. Padres are 5 games up on both those teams. They are very comfortably in the number 2 spot. The Cubs losing today, so the Padres 3 games behind the Cubs for the first spot. So again, Padres sitting in the 2nd spot, Cubs above them in the first wild card spot, 3 games ahead, and the Padres 5 games ahead of both the Reds and the Mets. So that's the way the National League looks. Now, I do want to also tell you about the American League here quickly because it's wild there. Tigers lost today, but the Guardians also lost today. So the Guardians remain 1 game behind the Tigers for first place in the American League Central. And then in the AL wild card, the Astros sit in the final wild card spot the Guardians are a half game out, and the Guardians have played unbelievably well. They had a long winning streak snap today, so that will be a main focus around baseball, what's going on in the AL Central and the final spot or two in the AL wildcard race, because the Red Sox are only a game ahead of the Astros for the number 2 spot. So a lot to be decided here in the final week. We'll see how it all goes. That's a look at our out-of-town scoreboard and the standings on this Sunday. Here today, Padres win it 3-2. Let's hear our play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
As Fernando Tatis Jr. stands in against Sean Burke. First pitch on the way. And Tatis swings, hits it in the air deep to left field. Robertson is back to watch. This one gonna go about halfway up the bleachers in left field for Fernando. His 23rd of the year. And the Padre lead is now 3-0.
Fernando got loose. First pitch he saw.
Fernando Tatis Jr., the home run, solo shot in the third, made it 3-0. We didn't know it at the time, but now it ended up being the game-deciding run. It would be the final run the Padres scored today, and they hang on to win it by a final of 3-2 against the White Sox. So that home run by Fernando, certainly a very big one, and like Jesse said, his 23rd of the season. Military Sunday on the Padres Radio Network is presented by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, no cost maintenance standard, so you get peace of mind standard. Well, taking a look ahead to tomorrow, it'll be the first game of a 3-game series between the Padres and the Brewers as the Padres begin their final homestand of the regular season. 6-game homestand, 3 against the Brew Crew, 3 against the Diamondbacks, and a pretty good chance that those games for the Diamondbacks are going to mean a ton as far as their pursuit of a wild card spot. But first things first, game 1 of that series tomorrow. Freddie Peralta scheduled to be on the mound for the Brewers, and Padres have not announced this officially to us yet, but if you want to follow the rotation, it would be Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres tomorrow, so should be Pivetta against Peralta. Again, first pitch tomorrow, 6:40. Pregame coverage begins from the Western Metal Building at 5:40. And I also will note again, I'm still waiting on... And I hate to do this because I hate to leave you hanging here as far as the magic number scenario, if the Padres can clinch tomorrow or not. I hate to do this to you, but I'm really, this stuff is a little complicated. It is, and I really want to go off what MLB tells us. I'm sorry to leave you hanging with not knowing fully about the magic number, but here's what I'm going to tell you. You can follow me on social media at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. Same thing on Instagram, although I don't know that I'm going to post this to Instagram. Follow me on X, Sammy Lev. Go to your social medias, whoever you usually follow. I'm sure they're going to have the info, as I will as well. And also, certainly tomorrow, 6 a.m., Ben and Woods. Throughout the day on the station, they will certainly know and have the info for you as well, starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So again, I'm sorry. I hate to do this, get off the air with not having a confirmed definition and explanation of if the Padres can clinch that postseason berth tomorrow. But at this very moment, I don't, to be honest with you. So stay tuned. We're going to get that info, and I'll relay it on social media as we find out what exactly is going on as far as the Padres magic number and a potential clinching scenario tomorrow. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage there as well in video form. Taking a look at the final totals here today as the Padres win this series. They take 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. Final totals for the Padres: 3 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They left on 7. For the White Sox, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. They left on 11. White Sox also went 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Winning pitcher here today, Michael King, who improves to 5-3. Losing pitcher, Sean Burke, who drops to 4-11. Save goes to Robert Suarez, number 40 on the season for Robert Suarez. Time of game, 2 hours and 42 minutes in the crowd at Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois, 24,205. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at Petco Park at 6:40. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Nick Taducci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from our San Diego studios. Again, the final score here today, the San Diego Padres 3 and the Chicago White Sox 2. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park right here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great rest of your Sunday.